Hi, everyone. This is Linda Karressy. Just re recording parts of our financial management workshop that was held on February 15th. The presentation, nonprofit accounting, three things to do for 2022. I know there were some sound issues, so just wanted to highlight a couple things to make sure that we're all on the same page. So, first, want to discuss, I'm going to just jump into the slides. We were discussing first thing cash projection. So, we looked at a cash projection template in Excel so we can learn how to estimate our cash balances so we can be proactive instead of reactive. And in the beginning of the presentation, I was teaching that as an organization, you have to be two-sided. So you have your internal reporting and then you have external reporting. So here in this slide, usually with internal reporting, a lot of organizations are looking at things like on a cash basis when they're starting up. And then as they grow, externally, they're starting to look at things accrual basis also. So cash basis and accrual basis are two accounting methods. There's two ways to do accounting. That's just in simple terms. And so you have to ask yourself when you are submitting reports, looking at those reports, who's the audience, what's the purpose, and then lastly, what accounting method should I use? And when we say accounting method, I want to provide examples. So there's cash basis and accrual basis. Cash basis, revenue and expenses are not recognized until the money is exchanged. Accrual basis, revenue and expenses are recognized when an obligation is made. So let's look at an example. So say for instance, we're going to use Miss Janet's organization again. Miss Janet has an agreement with the state and she's going to provide some services. Her nonprofit is going to provide some services. So she's going to send a invoice. When she sends that invoice in her accounting system, when she creates that invoice, it's going to increase revenue. As you can see here in this slide, that's the arrow going up. And then it's also going to increase accounts receivable. Accounts receivable is an account, and this is money that is owed to the organization. When the state pays, so 30 days later, when that payment comes into the bank account, Miss Janet is going to go into her accounting system and say this invoice has been paid. So she's going to receive payment against that outstanding invoice. When she does that, behind the scenes, the accounting entry is going to decrease accounts receivable because that money is no longer owed, and then it's going to increase cash because that money is now in the bank account. So as you can see with the accrual method, when you create an invoice, does not mean you have cash yet. You only have cash when the customer client has paid. So that is the accrual method. The cash method, let's just say, for instance, Miss Janet, she does some work for the John Bonner Community Center. She goes in one day and she does the work. And then, at the end of the day, they say, okay, you know what? Here's your cash. So the cash method, if you look here on the left-hand side, that cash, you know what? Miss Janet is going to go to the bank. When that bank transaction comes across, she's just going to tell that transaction is going to increase the cash account, and then it's going to increase the revenue account. I put sales here because I've used this with a business, but this would actually be a revenue account. So that's the accrual method. Once again, with cash basis and accrual, the difference is when you recognize revenue and expenses. And as you can, hopefully you're learning that revenue and cash are not the same. You can have your revenue can be very high on your profit and loss statement, but you may not have any cash because you are recognizing the revenue, but the client, the customer has not paid. That second transaction, this piece here has not happened. So you want to make sure you understand that piece, that revenue and cash are not the same. For most nonprofits, when they're starting off, they're really operating on a cash basis. And what I mean by that, donations are coming in and it goes directly into the bank account. You receive a grant, it goes directly into the bank account. So, that's really cash basis. The accrual basis is when you get into, you have an agreement with the state, an agency, even a business. And that's where you have to start when you're creating invoices, things like that. You have to recognize expenses when the obligation is made. So big difference. So with the cash projection template that we reviewed and that I'm going to bring up again, it's very important because it's really an internal tool. It's internal because cash is king. With running any organization, you need cash to fuel that business. And with this tool, it allows you to say, I either have enough or I don't. That's basically it. Because this accrual method here, just recognizing revenue, that's great and all, but when it comes to pay those bills, you need to have cash in the bank. So, let's take a look at the template, Excel template, and I have a lot of files open here. Here we go, cash template. So, this is the file that we were looking at. This is an Excel file. So, if you're not familiar with Excel, that's okay because all you have to do is you can just type in the numbers and the formulas calculate. So let's start from the top. So the columns, column B through M, these are the months. And you can use this for multiple years. So once 2022 is over, you can use this same spreadsheet, just zero out the numbers. If you're not familiar with the terminology quarters, let me explain that. So quarters are 3-month time frames. So the first quarter for 2022 is January, February, and March. You have your second quarter, your third quarter, your fourth quarter. We got into the discussion of physical year. So your physical year can be a calendar year. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay, if I can, there we go. Let me make this a little bit bigger for everybody. So calendar year. Calendar year can be from January to December. Some organizations are from July to June. What this is your accounting period. So this is your beginning to your end. So with accounting, you need a ending period. So a lot of nonprofits are January to December, July to June. Some nonprofits, so like for instance, charter schools, their physical year, I should say, their physical year is July to June. And it's because of how their funding works. Their funding comes from the state and federal, and their grants are from July to June. I'm sorry, let me put this. So June to December is a calendar year. So is your accounting period, basically your start to end. And let me scroll over here so everyone can see. So your physical year can be a calendar year or it can be July to June. And for right now, I can't think of the term that we use, but a lot of corporations are from July to June. And a lot of that is due to that a lot of international organizations are from July to June. So you select what your physical year is going to be. You can say it's from January to December or July to June. There's no law um, or no agency that's going to tell you what physical year you need to choose. So you need to either choose January to December or July to June. So that is that piece there. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. So this first section, this first row, cash on hand, beginning of the month. So if you are creating this cash projection for, let's say you're going to start with February, then you're going to put in January's ending bank account balance because you want to start off where you left off. So that's where these are formula driven. These cells here in row 9. So this is called row 9, cash on hand, the beginning balance. So some people ask the question, well, should I include the savings account? I would exclude it for now because if there's no operating expenses coming out or no grants going in, I would just leave that. So you want to put your account where the grants, the donations, and operating expenses are coming out. So you want to put that balance here in row 9. The second section is the cash receipt. So this is money that is actually expected to come in. Not what was agreed upon, not what's contracted, but money you expect to hit the bank account. So for instance, in this example, we have the Eli Lilly grant. We're expecting to have that in $1,000 in January. CICF, 2000 in March, a grant from the state of Indiana for 1,500. And like I said, you can change these items here. Whatever fits your organization, you can rename them. Say, for instance, you know that you're going to get, receive something in May from a foundation. Let's just say it's $5,000. You're going to type 5,000. As you can see, it calculates the total for you. So this section here is actual money hitting the bank. I recommend that you do break out your grants and your contracts so you can see the timing of the grants. Because we know that some grants you have to spend the money to get the money. Sometimes it's a 3-month or 6-month. So we always recommend in accounting that you break out these grants and contracts so you know what's coming in and out. So if you have multiple fundraising events, even with those, I would recommend you break those out because you want to see which fundraising events are making more money. So if you want to add a row, you highlight the row below it, and I'm just hitting right click on my mouse and I'm going to insert a row. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to right click, insert. You can also go to the toolbar. You can up here, you can go insert. And let me see, I usually don't use the toolbar. I'm always using shortcuts. So let me see if I can figure out how to show you how to do a row. Here we go. Home, insert a row. So you can use the menu bar. So if you have multiple, let's just say you have 2 fundraising events, I would recommend you do break those out so you can actually see what is coming in and what's going out. So say, for instance, you're having something in July, you expected to bring 5,000 in. And then say, for instance, you're going to have something on in November. And for that second event, let's just say another 5,000. As you can see, this Excel spreadsheet totals things for you. So once again, that top section is what's going to actually hit the bank account. So you have total cash receipts, total cash available. This is where it's adding the estimated bank account balance plus what you're expecting to get in. So if you're not familiar with Excel, it's telling you what rows are being added. So C25, I'm just going to, if you just highlight, so C25, cash on hand plus cash receipts. So let's go to the bottom here, cash paid out. This is money going out. So I think we're familiar with this. Salaries, professional services, if you have to pay someone for social media, you have travel, you have supplies, staff development. This can be training. And once again, this section here can be updated to fit your organization needs. I do recommend that you actually break out your expenses by programming and management because usually when you apply for a grant, they want to know, okay, what's your program versus management expense? So you can, you know, somehow, put those make I not put those, but categorize those accounts in such a way you'll have program and then you could actually indent. So, like for instance, you could actually, I'll show you here. I'm just going to copy this over here for a minute. Let's see if I can do that. It's not letting me. Oh, there we go. Let's do this one more time. Let's see. I think I'm hitting the wrong button there. There we go. Sorry, I have a new laptop, so hitting the wrong buttons. So I suggest, you put your count something like this where you have all of the programming and then you have the management. And this way you know what you're spending on. And with programming, if you offer one or more programs, what you could do, you can, put the amounts here and then you can put some notes and say, okay, this is for program X and X and X for, this dollar amount and then program X and X and X, for this. So definitely keep track of your notes. If you're familiar with Excel, let's just put some amounts in here. Let's just say, we're going to have 500 going across. And we're just going to have 500 going across. And for that. So as you can see, we have 500. If you're familiar with Excel, you go into the cell, you can right click, and then you can put a comment and say, this is for, I don't know, program kids tutoring. And you hit the green mark. You could do that so that way you have your notes there. So once again, this section is cash going out. So it gives you a total for total cash expenses, total cash paid out, which will just equal total cash expenses, and then the cash position at the end of the month. This is where it's telling you at the end of the month, we're estimating that our cash balance will be $2,500. And you may come to a point where, you know what, sometimes it may be negative. So let's do this here. So I am just going to put some numbers here so we can see how that may come about. I'm just going to put 8,000 there. So as you can see for May, we're estimating a deficit. So that means this 3,650, that means our bank account could be overdrawn by 3,650. So what that's telling us, so since we are in February, okay, we have plenty of time to go back, look at this budget and work on this budget and get these numbers down. Either we have to spend less or we have to go back and say, you know what, let's get some more donations in. What do we need to do? So this is why this Excel spreadsheet comes in handy, because it starts you to strategize, get you thinking about your numbers, getting you more intimate with your numbers. And as the days and the weeks pass, you're going to utilize this spreadsheet. I recommend that you start looking at this spreadsheet on a weekly basis. So you'll log into that bank account and say, you know what, the balance is this, the balance is this on this date. Am I on track to reach whatever balance I have listed here? Have these expenses came through? Am I, meeting my donation goals? So very important to utilize this spreadsheet on a continual basis. This spreadsheet allows you to look at your organization in one report. You're looking at donations, you're looking at grants, then you're also looking at your programming. What are you spending your programming on? Is it being successful? Because depending on what you're spending on, professional services, staff development, it's all right here. You're looking at every part of the organization. You're looking at the cash, you're looking at what's coming in, you're looking at what's um, owed, what the organization owes. It's all in this report. And the more you do this, the more you get familiar and you will become an expert with your organization's finances. And that's what you want as a leader, not to be an accountant, but you want to be able to sit in front of a grantor or a donor and say, on average, this is what comes in. On average, this is what we spend on this particular program. And you'll know that information because you have updated, you have created this report, you've become very intimate with this report. The more you do it, the more confident you will feel in explaining your financials. So hopefully that information is helpful. Once again, with Excel, you can go to YouTube. You can reach out to us if you're having issues. Also, there's a notes tab just to give some definitions on what things mean. So definitely, if you're not used to Excel, if you want to just do it old school, you know what? Maybe you want to create your own tab and just start writing the numbers here and then put the months across. You can do that and then you can add it yourself. Now you want to just make sure that the totals are adding correctly. Basically, this cash forecast is taking your bank balance plus what you're estimating to come in. So cash, all the cash coming in, minus the cash going out. That's all it's doing. It's estimating it for you. And it's always good to do this before the month starts. So that way, when that month comes, you're working towards this particular goal. So let's go back to the presentation. I have made a wave demo. So that's a separate video. We talked about the different types of accounting software. We talked about the chart of accounts in QuickBooks and Wave. We didn't really get into list. This is mostly in QuickBooks. QuickBooks allows you to create classes, and classes are where you can tell QuickBooks this transaction goes against this grant. So where you can actually pull grant reports. We didn't really go into budget. You can enter your budget into QuickBooks, but if you're using this template here, this is actual your actual budget. Another thing I want to bring up, you may be asking yourself, well, wonder if I have to submit a grant report, I mean a grant budget. And if you have to submit a grant budget, it really should be already here. So if you are breaking out programming and management expenses, then that should be your budget. Now, if it's a brand new program or brand new service, it may not be here. But really, you want all of, the whole y- your budget, your total budget should always tie to your grant budgets. And what I mean by that, if you have three grants, all of those grants, all of their budgets that roll up to your one total budget. And let me put that as an example. So you have your overall budget, and then underneath that, you can have a budget for grant one, grant two, um, grant three. And actually, you know what? Let me do this. So overall budget should equal grant one, grant two, plus grant three. So that's how it should work. If you have to create multiple budgets for whatever reason for different grants or contracts, all of those should equal your overall budget. And then let's go into we went into how to get organized. You definitely, since it's early in the year, you want to get organized. You want to get your paperwork, get your files all set up so you know how so you basically know where things are. That's all you want. You just want to know where things are. And I wanted to show you an example that I created that let me see if I can find it quickly because I know during the presentation I had created a folder for us and now I don't know what I did with it. I had created a directory. Oh, if I can get to my desktop. Sorry, I have so many files open, but I don't see it. But I wanted to show you how to create a directory, and I created one, and now I cannot find it. Sorry about that. I know I created it, and now I can't. Don't know what I did with it. But what I mean by creating a directory is here, as you see, I have folders, and this is what you want. You want to have folders, you want things saved. So that can be in Dropbox, that can be in Smart Vault, that can be in Microsoft 365, whatever the case may be. So definitely keep organized. You want to know where all your documents are. Like I said in the presentation, don't be like me where I create multiple Dropbox emails because I don't want to pay. I had two to three Dropbox. Then I had I have a Google Drive. Then I have a OneDrive, and then one day I've just had enough, and now I have Smart Vault. Everything is in one place. So that's what you want. You want everything in one place because you don't want to, you know, say you're writing a grant and then that deadline is an hour away and then you can't find something. Don't be like me. Just have one place. Even if you have to pay a couple dollars, go ahead and do that. That way you have unlimited storage. So here, the bonus. I want to show you this here that may come in handy. So if you Google my company name, and you've probably seen this when you Google an organization, on the right hand side, it has their profile. You can see, pictures. Sometimes you don't even see pictures, but you see some information. With my Google business, you can create posts. As you can see, I have posts. And what I do, sometimes I just take a social media post that I posted and I just copy the words here. This is another way to increase your SEO. Also, too, when someone Googles your organization, they can, see what's going on. You can also create a post with a link with your donation tab, your donation button. You can put appointments, your telephone number. You can even add pictures. So I have some photos here that I've uploaded. Let's see, how do you go to? So when you have events, you can put your photos here. You can actually do videos. There's just different things here. And the more you add, the higher you're up in the ranking. So this is like a very simple tool. And how you go into that is, so I'm going to open up another Google tab. When you log into your Google, you should see, if you're using Gmail, you'll see that you have images. You're going to go to the apps and you're going to go to business profile. Now you have to claim your organization's profile. If you have not done that, Google, once you click business profile, it'll take you through the steps on how to do that. And once you complete those steps, they're going to send you a verification code in the email. That mail is going to look like junk mail, so don't throw that away. I think it's going to say Google, but don't throw it away. That is your verification code. You're going to enter that verification code, and then you'll have access to this section here. So this home section is where you can create posts, add a photo, create an ad. You can put your business information. What I like to do, like, you can look at how many views, how many times you come up in the search. And as you can see, like I said, you don't have to post very often here, but it does move you up the search. Like, just random people have just called me out of the blue just because of using Google. So this is a free resource. Post. So it lists all the posts. It'll tell you how many views, info. This will be info about your organization, hours. You can put services, products. Once again, I would definitely put some photos of when you have events. You can put some testimonials. You can definitely put a button for your for donations. So if you want to create post, you go home and you just create a post. And you can put something, oh, we're having a fundraiser on so and so a day. And then you can say sign up and you'll put the link here. You can preview it. You can do event, what's new, those different types of posts. But I found this to be a great tool. I have not seen a nonprofit utilize this, so I would think, if you start using this, I think your nonprofit would definitely start getting more views. And like someone told me, it only takes one phone call. So you can have that one phone call that will change your organization's directory, the vision. You can have a donor and say, you know what, I want to give such and such, amount of money, or provide some services, or I want to become a board member. I saw what you're doing on your profile. So definitely take a look at this, utilize it. I say utilize it for a couple months and see how it goes, but it's definitely been working for me. So that's why I have continued to utilize it and post often. So I try to do it at least twice a week. Like, even if you do it once a week, it's definitely still moves you up on the search. So once again, hopefully this information is helpful. So once again, for 2022, you want to use the cash projection Excel template. Here's the template. Then number 2, you want to invest in an accounting software, whether that's QuickBooks or Wave. And then number 3, get organized. Make sure you have your files are accessible and they're easy to find. So if you have any questions, concerns, make sure you contact us, and we will definitely reach out back out to you and see how we can help you. Once again, there's a lot of things on YouTube that you can utilize. I have some things on my YouTube channel that may be helpful, but definitely reach out to Partech Consulting or CICF, and we can assist you with your needs. So hopefully this information is helpful, and I wish you all the best of luck.